Okay, so for the past couple of days, we've been doing a lot of work together, practicing annotating and test taking. So today we are going to be working on that same skill, but we'll be doing it independently. I know it's a bummer, but you'll get over it. Okay, so at this time, you need this text, First Flight, and you'll need a highlighter and a pencil, not a pen, so that we can begin working. Once you have those things, then we can get started. Okay, so our text is called First Flight, and I see an image here. So what is the first thing that I need to do? I'm going to put a box around this image. And I'm going to ask myself, is this image a real image or is this an illustration? And to me, this looks like a photograph. That tells me this is a real image. So that tells me that this is nonfiction. Then I need to make sure I annotate what the image actually is. The image appears to be some kind of a plane. I'm going to go with plane. All right, so for the last couple of days, we have been working together to annotate and practice the skill of test taking because y'all have a big exam coming up. So today we're going to be working on your own, or you're going to be working on your own with me, so we're working together. So the first thing that you need to do is have this text out, First Flight. You need a highlighter and you also need a pencil. Not a pen, please, a pencil. Once you have all those things, we can begin. I'm going to give you just a second. Okay, so the directions say read the selection and choose the best answer to each question. And here I see a caption. Corey wrote this story about a girl's first time traveling on an airplane. Read Corey's story and think about how it should be revised and answer the questions. Okay, well I see an image here and you can see that I've already highlighted my image, but this image looks like a real photograph. Usually when I see an image of a real photograph, that tells me that the text is nonfiction, but here in the caption, it tells me that Corey wrote this story. If Corey wrote a story, then it is not nonfiction, it is fiction, because stories are fiction. Okay, so over to the side, I see an airplane, and over right here, because it says story, I'm going to annotate the word fiction right above that. Okay, so when you're annotating for fiction, that's going to be different than when you're annotating for nonfiction. Remember that fiction has a plot, and it has a setting, it has characters, a conflict. So it's different than your normal expository text, which just is mostly going to be text structure and main idea and author's purpose. All right, okay, so I'm in the fiction mindset. So my title says First Flight. I'm going to box that in. I'm going to come back to that because I need to do something very important right now. What do you think I need to do? I've already looked at my caption. I've already looked at my image. I need to number the paragraphs. Hopefully you said number the paragraphs. So over here I have paragraph 1, paragraph 2, 3, 4, and 5. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can always tell that it's a paragraph because it's got an indent right before the start. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over. And I have paragraph 6, paragraph 7, and paragraph 8. So you should have 8 paragraphs numbered. Okay, my paragraphs are numbered. I've read my caption. I've looked at my image. Now it says First Flight. Well, I know that a flight has something to do with being on a plane or being in the air. And it's saying the first time. So I guess this means the first time that someone was on a plane. Oh, yeah, well, it is the first time someone was on a plane. It tells me that up here in my caption, first time traveling on an airplane. Okay, well, a lot of times when you do something for the first time, how do you feel? Okay, when you do something for the first time, you might feel maybe nervous, might feel a little bit scared. I get nervous every single time I'm on an airplane. I've been on an airplane many, many times, and yet still, as soon as that plane gets up into the air and when it's landing, I am feeling very panicked. So if this is the first time this little girl is on a plane, she might be feeling the same way. All right. Okay, so we're talking about first time on an airplane. Maybe she's nervous, maybe she's scared, I don't know. Now let's go to my questions. Question number 13. Which sentence could be added before sentence 8 to improve Corey's transition from the previous paragraph? Okay, so it says before sentence 8. So I'm going to highlight that. Remember, the word before is very important. Okay, the word before is very important. It's not after, it's before. We're adding a sentence. So if we're going to add an entire sentence, so we need to go over here to sentence 8. Here is sentence 8. And we're going to add a sentence before it. It says to improve Corey's transition from the previous paragraph. Okay, so we're adding a sentence before this. So right in front of this, I'm going to put my Q1. Right in front of that, I'm going to put my Q1 because I'm adding a sentence before sentence 8. So it says I want to improve the transition. Well, usually the first sentence in a paragraph kind of is like a topic sentence. It gives us an idea of what we're about to read. Similar, not quite a thesis because your thesis is in your introduction, but you want to have something that sort of connects the ideas between these two paragraphs. So that's something to think about when you're going to answer this question. Okay, next one. Corey would like to add the following sentence to her story when she revises it. At the time, the ride in the bumpy truck had seemed horrible, but now she longed for the comfort of staying on the ground. Ooh, there's that word longed. We talked about this word longed when we read the poem Annabelle Lee. That was actually on one of your exit tickets. What does the word longing mean? What does it mean when I long for something? Okay, so I want to make sure if you do not remember, you need to make sure you look it up, right? Make sure you write the page number that you found it on and the definition of the word. It doesn't have to be the entire definition. It can just be, one or two words that remind you of what the word longing means. And if you already know what longing means, just annotate that off to the side. I need to see it on your paper. Now it says, where is the best place to insert this sentence? And it says sentences 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it doesn't tell me up here where I'm going to add my sentence, but it does tell me where I'm going to add my sentence in my answer choices. So I'm going to go to sentences 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right here, here's sentence 7. I'm going to bracket that. 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to bracket that. And over here to the side, I'm going to put my Q14. Q14. Oh, I put a Q1 here. This is supposed to say Q13. Why didn't you tell me? It's supposed to be Q13. Got to keep me on my toes, man. All right. Question number 15. The word watched in sentence 13 does not express what Corey was trying to say. Which word or words could best replace watched and help Corey improve the meaning of sentence 13? All right, so you already know. Got to annotate. It says the word watched in sentence 13. We're changing the word watch, so I'm going to highlight that. Which word could best replace it? So that means we're going to change it. So to replace means to change out or substitute maybe. I'm going to go to sentence 13. Sentence 13 is on the second page of my text. I'm going to find sentence 13. Taylor watched her grandma with surprise. I'm going to highlight watched because that is the word they're asking me about. And I'm going to write question 15. Okay, question 15. Taylor watched her grandma with surprise. Question 16. What is the best way to revise sentences and 16 and 17? Now remember, when they're talking about the best way to revise, that means we're going to change the sentence. We're changing sentences 16 and 17. Now they're talking about changing the entire sentence, not just changing one word or changing one comma. So that means when I go back to highlight, what am I going to do? I'm going to highlight the entire sentence. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of that, 16 and 17. And then I'm going to put question 16 by that. Is it question 16? Let me double check. Yep, make sure. Question 16. Okay. And finally, question 17. What is the best way to revise sentence 25? Okay, same thing. We're changing the sentence. Sentence 25. So what do I do now? If you said go back to the text, then you are absolutely correct. You are growing and getting better, and I love it. So, sentence number 25. Going to highlight it. And I'm going to put question 17 right there. Okay, so I have marked up my text with my questions to prepare myself for my questions, but I am not done, okay? It's very, very important that when you are reading through this text, you have to annotate the main idea. You have to annotate the main idea. You won't know what are the best changes that you can possibly make to the paragraphs if you don't know what the paragraphs are talking about. So just like you usually do, there's the bell, time for lunch. Just like you usually do with your reading passages, off to the side, you need to annotate the main idea of your writing passage, okay? Annotating the main idea of your writing passage is what is going to help you know what the correct answer is. So you're going to read the rest of you're going to read the passage, you're going to answer these questions, and when you're done with that, you can move on to the next one. Exact same strategy, you already know. Start with your caption, work your way down to your image, number your paragraphs, make a prediction about your title, annotate your questions, annotate your text, read for main idea, and I'm going to put the quiz in Schoology so that you can get immediate feedback and know what you got right away. So there's going to be one quiz for First Flight, there's going to be one quiz for Mall's new policy, and there's going to be one quiz for Fort Fizzle. Good luck.